Good morning. I'm Ladina Boo from Stockton, Missouri, and I have my guest here today. This is Miss Kennedy. Um, we're going to discuss bullying today. I've found over the years that it seems like bullying keeps getting worse and worse. They've all got something new to harass someone about. It breaks my heart because, really 1 out of 5 kids is bullied, whether that's at school or at home. And a lot of this bullying comes via the internet, text messaging, just all kinds of digital harassment. And, you know, they say that there are 5.4 million students who skip school at some point in the year due to bullying. They can't tolerate what's being done to them. And some kids are so tormented that suicide becomes their only alternative. Um, but it's not just the result of bullying. There's usually other factors involved there. They may start smoking or drinking or something of that nature. Bullies are also more likely to skip school and drop out of school, smoke, drink, get into fights, and be arrested at some point in their life. And actually, 60% of boys who were bullied in middle school had at least one criminal conviction by the time that they were 24 years old. Um, they have decreased, the bullied person gets decreased academic achievement. They're less likely to participate in extracurricular activities and things of that nature. Maybe they're afraid to go to school or afraid to ride on the bus. A lot of them are afraid to use a school bathroom because that's where a lot of the fights occur. Nobody can see them in there. Or maybe they're afraid to be alone in the hallway. So anyway, Miss Kennedy here, you really started suffering with bullying from others, maybe what, middle school, you say that was when it really got bad?
It actually got worse in middle school, but it originated in like my first or second grade years of school.
They were, and what were they picking on you about, really?
They would pick on me for my height because I've always been really small. They would pick on me for my teeth because I did have that adult tooth grow behind my baby tooth. So then when the baby tooth fell out, finally, it was that tooth didn't move forward on its own.
Hmm. They can just find all kinds of stuff to pick on a person about, can't they? You know, um, yeah, you got braces. Your teeth are beautiful, by the way. She just got her braces off. And so it's really wonderful to see her smiling. Um, when you were having trouble with people bullying you in school, did you ever take it upon yourself to go to a teacher or counselor, or you were living with your grandmother at that time? So did you go to her or anybody like that about it?
No, I didn't go to anybody about it because I've always been one of those types of people. I don't like to cause a whole big mess over something that I think is super little.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of like, I just kind of sat there and I took all of it and I just didn't really let it bother me until middle school.
And how did it make you feel after you got to middle school? They got a little more evil then at that point, didn't they?
Yeah, in middle school, I started going through puberty really bad and I had a lot of acne. So I would get bullied for having acne. And so I started wearing makeup all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah. Makeup doesn't help your acne situation, though, does it?
No.
Let the sun shine on your face, child. Um, were you ever like lonely? Did you have a lot of friends in school that, might stick up for you a little bit? Or were you kind of a loner and just, a couple of friends?
I was kind of like a loner. I didn't have very many friends.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be the case with a lot of people who are bullied. They don't want to put themselves out there and expose themselves to somebody else who might hurt them in some fashion. Because it does hurt when somebody bullies you, doesn't it? When they
Yeah.
call you names and make fun of you. Um, you know, if somebody tells you that words don't hurt, they're wrong. Words can hurt as much as anything in the world. Sometimes they hurt more. I know that a lot of the abuse that I've suffered over the years was a result of people saying things and just being mean in what they were saying and calling me stupid or ugly or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Those things really disturb a person, don't they?
Yeah.
Um, did it cause you to feel, depressed or anxious around other people? Um, you know, Probably didn't do any good for your self-esteem either, did it?
No, it did make me really depressed to the point where I did have to go to the doctor and I had to get antidepressants
Hmm.
and I had to take those every day.
Yeah. That's It's horrible when a child has to go on antidepressants, but there was a lot going on in your life. Your mom was a drug addict at that point and not around, correct?
Yeah.
And since you came from a small town, I bet everybody in town knew who your mom was and what was going on, didn't they?
Yeah, I did also get bullied for my mom being a drug addict.
Mm-hmm. Um, People get really cruel on that. They were telling you would be a drug addict and so forth too, didn't they?
Yeah, some people would tell me that I was gonna grow up to be just like her.
Mm-hmm.
People would tell me that she was never gonna get clean. People would just make fun of me for not having parents
Mm-hmm.
and living with my grandma.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's an awful lot of children that have to live with their grandparents these days.
Yeah.
You probably had a friend or two that were living with grandparents, weren't they? And your brother's living with your other or with another grandmother.
Yeah, he was. He lives with his dad now.
Hmm. Did any of it cause you to be really anxious around people? Not wanting to go out and do something because you really didn't want to be around people.
Yeah, I'm my biggest problem with that is I don't like making new friends. It's very difficult
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I'm always being judged for the way I look. And it's not that I care about what people think about me, it's just I don't like feeling like I'm being judged.
Yeah. Well, none of us want to be judged, and you know, I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
But yeah, people can, especially young people, can be so cruel these days. It's like everyone wants you to look like the people on TV.
Yeah.
You know, we can't really do that, can we?
No.
I know you don't have enough money for a bunch of plastic surgery in order to look the way people think you should look. But like I
Yeah,
say,
no.
you're extremely pretty, and
Thank you.
that's why we only give her first name. But now, whenever people were bullying you, did they physically bully you in any fashion? Were they shoving you around or knocking you down, or was it basically all verbal and emotional? Uh,
There was a couple times where it was physical. Like I would have this one girl who would push me around all the time and basically walk all over me and she would push me down. She would like knock all of my stuff out of my hands.
that makes for a terrible day. I just don't understand people who do that, but that's physically abusive to you. I know my other grandchildren, my grandson especially, he'd get to kicking people or hitting him and stuff if they were picking on him, if they were bullying him. He suffered horribly from bullying, but he's got autism. So, it took a while for him to understand what was going on. But the verbal bullying probably hurt the worst for him. Did you find that to be the case? Were they spreading rumors about you or teasing you or calling you names?
Yeah, for me, the verbal abuse was a lot more hurtful because it was like, if they were to write it over the internet, you could pass it off as, oh, they're just mad at the world. But it's like when they're saying it to your face, like face to face, it hurts a lot worse because they're like, because in your head you're sitting there and you're thinking like, what if that is true? What if they're right? What if that does happen?
Yeah, you can see their face, and it kind of brings it all home.
Yeah.
But did they bully you on the internet and stuff also, or your phone, or anything of that nature? Stalk your Facebook page.
Yeah, I have had a lot of people stalk me on social media because they don't like me. Um, there was this one girl in my old school in Nevada. She used to stalk all of my social media all the time,
Hmm.
and she would try to be like me. And I was just like, I don't see why you'd want to be like me. I mean, you're never gonna be just like me. I mean, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to be yourself at some point.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, the internet is a two-edged sword, in my opinion. It's a wonderful tool. It's great entertainment and so forth, but it could also leave you open to people just attacking you randomly. They send you a message or say something on a post, and I've heard some very hateful things on the internet. That
Yeah.
people do. Now, did you have increased feelings of sadness or loneliness, or loss of interest in any activities when people were bullying you? Were you very outgoing in school or anything?
I was never really an outgoing person. I've kind of just always stuck to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did get really upset, like when I had to get up and get ready for school. I would literally sit there and try to wait it out
Mm-hmm. Hoping
until the
it'd go
very last
away.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before with a few children. It's like, well, maybe if I sit here, they'll call school off, and I won't have to go in there and deal with it.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't report anything to your teachers or counselor or anything of that nature. You didn't even tell your grandmother about what was going on, did you?
No.
Did anybody close to you notice your, you know, depression and anxiety? You know,
Um, they noticed the depression and anxiety, but I never told them why
hmm
I had depression and anxiety.
you know, so they just decided you needed some kind of medical help in order to help with your depression at that point. Are you still on antidepressants, or have you gotten past those now?
I've gotten past those, and it's not that they automatically just like put me on them like that. It was more of a they assumed it was because of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'd say maybe about like 5% of it was because of my mom, but I'm not gonna lie. I was used to it. At that point, I was used to her coming in and out of my life
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Well, you went to live with your grandmother when you were very small, wasn't it? Like, you were only like 2 or 3 when you went there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, shortly after your mother married. Um, it still hurts a child, though, to know that their mother is more involved in a man or drugs or anything like that instead of the baby she brought into the world.
Yeah.
You know, you had your aunt, though, who was there, and you're very close with your aunt, one of them, are you not?
Yeah, my Aunt Natalie, me and her are very close, and we always have been.
Did she help you talk you through part of the bullying you were suffering from at school? Did you ever even tell her about it, or?
I did tell her a little bit about it, and she just kind of like she helped me through it.
Well, that's a good thing. A small number of children who are bullied, another one of those facts that scare me every now and then, retaliate through extreme violent measures. 12 of the 15 school shooting cases in the 1990s had those shooters had a history of being bullied. Sometimes you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So, Have Did you just go to, well, I know you went homeschooling. Did you go to homeschooling uh, because of your move to Bolivar, or did you go homeschooling because you didn't want to have to deal with other people in the schools?
Um, the main reason I wanted to do homeschooling was because mainly it was just the people in the school district in Bolivar are super disrespectful. Like they don't have respect for anybody.
Hmm.
And it's like they don't they don't care to listen when the teacher tells them to be quiet, and they just don't care.
It's hard to learn in that environment, isn't it?
Yeah. And there was this one girl going around the school telling a whole bunch of kids to kill themselves. And then when she finally got called out for it, she tried denying all of it. And someone had gotten a video of her telling one of the kids to go kill themselves.
That's horrible.
Yeah. What's even worse is the girl had tried to be my friend because she was in my gym class, and I never talked to her.
Hmm. Yeah, she's not one that I think would be a very good friend if she wants people to kill themselves.
Yeah, no.
Apparently, she's not keeping up on current affairs and seeing the girl who kept telling her boyfriend to kill himself. I mean, she spent a lot of time in court there.
Yeah.
you know, um, Now, I know you had one little bout where you were lashing out at your grandmother and you took her truck, did you not?
Yeah.
And do you think that was probably a result of the bullying and people telling you certain things were going to happen and you were just tired of them all? And so you just wanted to get away, or what was that about?
That was mainly about how it was about my part of it was because of my mom.
Hmm.
She was in prison, and I just automatically thought, oh, she's going to do the same thing again that she's always done. She's going to get out. She's going to go hang out with those same people. She's going to get back into it. And then it's going to be a whole cycle all over again.
Praise the Lord, that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
You're
And
back.
I applaud my mom every day for it. I
Hmm.
mean, I might not show her that I do applaud her for it, but I do. Deep down, I really do applaud her for it.
And you're back with her full time now, are you not?
Yeah, we recently had just went down to the courthouse in Nevada, and my grandma terminated her right as my
Or,
legal guardian and
hmm.
gave it back to my mom.
Well, that was probably a happy day for you, was it not? You don't. You can
Yeah,
actually have a grandma instead of some person has to be your mother and your grandma,
yeah, not somebody that I have
right?
to ask whether I can do this and then ask my mom.
Yeah, I know. With I have a couple of cousins, and one cousin, she was raising two of her granddaughters forever. She got them, when they were very, very small. And one of the things that hurt her so badly was the fact that she needed somebody to take care of the children. They needed guidance and everything, and mom was not interested in doing so. But she was so heartbroken because she couldn't be grandma and enjoy the grandma time. She had to be the
Yeah.
parent, and you don't get to do the fun stuff because it's more fun to harass your grandchildren to send them back home. Get them all hyped up on sugar and everything, and then send them back to mom. It's
Oh my.
That's really our mindsets, the grandma type. So, now, did you have notice any other kids in your school being bullied unmercifully, or did any of them? Um, Now, I know with my son, there were quite a few kids in his high school classes that committed suicide over the years because of bullying. Did anybody in your class or anybody commit suicide or do anything of that nature?
No, but there was this one girl in my in Nevada school. She I used to say hi to her every day in the hallway, and every time that I saw her, I'd always say hi and ask her how her day's been and stuff like that. Um, she was born with Down syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and she walks with kind of like a limp,
Mm-hmm.
and she gets bullied sometimes. So I kind of like, I stand up for her the best that I can. And I'm just like, hey, like don't do that. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I find that a lot of times when somebody's bullied, they have a bigger heart for those who are also being bullied or different in some fashion.
Yeah, it really, really got to me for the fact that they could do that to somebody that actually has visible issues and
Hmm.
somebody that can't defend themselves.
Right.
It's like, how are you going to sit there and pick an easy target?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's just, it makes you look pathetic.
There are so many people that don't understand disabilities, Down syndrome or autism or cerebral palsy or anything of that nature. My niece had muscular dystrophy.
Hmm.
And so they become really bad targets. And then, your situation, your mother wasn't close. Your mother was doing whatever your mother was doing at that point.
Yeah.
Um, she was a drug addict. She is clean these days. And she's actually been on our show previously. And so you know, it probably gives you a more empathetic mindset. You could feel their pain. You know what
Yeah.
they're going through. Uh,
Yeah, it just really, it hurts to see somebody else like that get bullied.
and a lot of the people these days, they don't have that empathy. They can't feel what the other person is going through, or they can't see the hurt and the sadness in those people. You know, everybody has to understand and comprehend exactly how painful and traumatic bullying can be. Um, you know, the social and emotional impacts. Kids who are regularly targeted by bullies often suffer both emotionally and socially. They find it hard to make friends. You said yourself you find it hard to make friends.
Yeah.
But most of them also struggle to maintain healthy friendships. Did you have trouble keeping friends, or where there are times whenever you just like were by yourself?
Yeah, there were a couple times like that. And even now, there's still times like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had recently just dropped one of my friends because she cheated
Mm-hmm.
on my best friend since second grade. I've had one friend since the second grade, and he's never once left.
Yeah.
He's always stood by my side. He's always been there for me,
Mm-hmm.
and he's always stuck up for me.
Yeah. My I have two grandchildren. Also, they've got like one friend that's been there forever, and they really didn't have any desire to go make any others. When
Yeah,
it came right down to it, it was one person that they could actually depend on. Now, they picked on you about your teeth, they picked on you about your acne and so forth. It
yeah,
probably didn't do anything for your self esteem, did it?
no. And then when I did get to high school, I just started realizing, like, I don't care what everybody else thinks. I mean, it's a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have more acne than others, and some people don't have the money to get their teeth fixed and straight.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, that's a completely normal thing. It's an everyday normal thing. Like it's
Yeah. So many kids, though, I don't know if you've noticed it among any of your friends who were picked on or anything like that. Um, And whenever people start calling them fat or calling them losers or calling them ugly, they begin to believe those things. They internalize it and they begin to believe those things.
yeah.
You found the strength to come out and say, no, I'm what I want to be and not what everybody else says I'm going to be, right?
Yeah, and in middle school, I was always called ugly. I was always called fat. I was always told that no one would ever want to date me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I
Yeah.
don't need a man to support me. I don't need none of that.
You're a perfectly capable young woman. I
Exactly.
have no doubt that you'll do whatever you want to in life and succeed greatly. You know, so many other bullying victims that I've met over the years, though, um, they get to the point where they're angry or they're bitter or helpless and frustrated. Get very lonely. I know a few people like that. The depression just kind of sucks the life out of them, and it also affects their physical health. Um, you know, then you have the wonderful aspect of the women in your life, your aunt and your grandmother and your mother and so forth. Um, they try to push you to be more outgoing and everything like that. So
Yeah.
many kids or people who are bullied, they get what is known as a learned helplessness. They believe that they can't do something and they can't change the situation. You always felt strong enough to try to change the situation, did you not? Or, you know,
Yeah. I always thought that I could change it and that I could do so many things. And then when the bullying started getting worse in middle school, I didn't feel pretty. I was skinny, but I didn't feel skinny because there was always that one person that would tell me I was fat every day and stuff like that.
that's so sad that when people start doing that, and I find that they can just destroy your own self-esteem, and until you've got the strength to figure out, hey, I'm better than this, and I can
Yeah.
do whatever the Lord wants me to do, and you had strong women in your life to help push you along, and you didn't really have a whole lot of men in your life, did you?
No. The main man that I did have in my life was my grandma's husband,
Mm-hmm.
and that was about it.
Yeah. No. Now, as bullied kids grow into adults, they continue to struggle with self-esteem in a lot of ways, and they have difficulty developing and maintaining relationships, and they avoid social interaction, and they may also have a hard time trusting people, which could make it difficult for other relationships or work relationships or so forth. You've always been very quiet.
Yeah.
Uh, So, do you find that you don't want to get out and meet new people, or do you like going out and meeting new people?
I like going out. I get nervous meeting new people
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like to be judged by people that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's kind of like I don't necessarily get scared. I just I kind of sit back and observe and
Mm-hmm.
see what kind of vibe that I catch from the new people that I'm meeting.
Yeah, you're very cautious about new people. I
Yeah.
noticed. You maintain a very quiet attitude in the background until you decide to come out and talk with everybody.
Yeah.
You think some of that has to do with everything that's gone on before? It's just kind of in the back of your mind, so it's hard to get rid of all that, isn't it?
Yeah. I've I've just never really been like a very talkative person.
Hmm.
Um I am with my family sometimes, but not all the time.
She can come to my house for an entire day and maybe say 15 words. Okay. But she likes my cows, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever find that you ended up with any physical bullying. You said the girl would push you around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, did that weigh on you as far as causing you to be more anxious? Did you try to avoid her in the hallways and avoid certain people?
Um, to be honest, it didn't make me avoid her,
Hmm.
and I don't know if that was what she was trying to do. It didn't necessarily work. Um, I just kind of I got up from it, and I grew this attitude of, you know what, I'm gonna show you that you don't bother me anymore.
Hmm. It's hard for some people to get that attitude, though.
Yeah,
If you've been down and depressed for very long, it's hard to dig your way out of that hole.
yeah,
The antidepressants help whenever you were taking those and so forth. Make it a tolerable day to go to school anyway, right?
yeah,
I don't think school's fun anywhere. I really liked school, but today I wouldn't want to be in school. It seems like there's so much hatred and anger and everything and disrespect. That's one of the things you mentioned at the Bolivar schools, the
yeah,
disrespect among everybody. I guess they probably didn't care what the teacher said or what the rules were or anything. They just ran around like little demons.
yeah, basically.
Did you find that bullying ever affected your grades? Were you to the point where you didn't want to do schoolwork, or you?
Yeah, I was failing basically every single. I was even failing PE.
Uh, that's a difficult class to fail.
Yeah,
It's okay. I tried to fail PE too. I didn't like it.
yeah, they were simple, simple things that I had to do to get through PE, but I even failed PE because I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to do anything.
Hmm.
I had so many missing assignments that there was no way I would have been caught up by the end of the year.
Hmm. Now, so many kids who are bullied, they get that way. I'm depressed. I don't want to put up with this stuff, and so I'm just going to stay home and not do anything. I'm not going to do my work. I've seen that quite a bit. I have a grandchild who's behind academically because of the bullying that she suffers in school. Um, just makes you not want to go out and into public. You just would rather stay home.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I assume your grandmother was good with you staying home on occasion. Then you know.
Yeah, she was okay with me staying home on from time to time.
Hmm.
And then when I'd moved here to Bolivar and I'd started school, I think I went for maybe a month, and then I just stopped getting up to go to
Hmm.
school because I was tired of the disrespect that was thrown all over the place. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, people seem to be getting meaner these days. It's a classic sign of the times right now because there's too much hatred. Um, you know, some of the things that you have to understand about these bullies also is that they spend so much time disrupting everything and being disrespectful that the teachers have to spend all their time correcting someone instead of being able to teach you also.
Yeah,
It's hard for them to get that across. Um, you know, you have overcome most of the bullying that you've gone through.
yeah,
You still have the lasting effects from, not wanting to meet new people and things like that. You're very quiet.
yeah,
Um, I think someday you're going to come out and, just tell the world everything you want to say. But you're getting a little more outgoing than you were whenever you and I first met. And,
yeah.
you
The more I start to get to know people, um, the more outgoing I am.
now, did your mother, was she aware of the bullying that you were suffering, or was she really not paying attention to that thing at that point?
No, she had no idea because she was never at that time. She was never in my life long enough to,
Hmm.
you know, for me to tell her like, "Hey, this is what's going on."
Yeah. Anybody just tell you to suck it up and get over it?
Yeah,
That's not really the easiest thing to do, though, is it? We want to make tough kids, but and we want them to be bully proof. But I don't think anybody is ever actually bully proof because words hurt. Physical violence hurts.
yeah,
Being called names all the time hurts. So, you still are not suffering so much from bullying, but then you're also rather quiet and self contained. Yeah.
yeah,
So that probably makes an issue too. And then the fact that, y'all are living in a motel, so you probably don't have a lot of friends that know where
yeah,
you're at and everything. So, uh, hopefully, your mind stays good whenever you're doing that. Yeah,
yeah,
you seem awfully happy,
yeah,
and you do have a few friends in Bolivar now.
yeah. I do. I have a whole car group.
Mm-hmm.
So
And they took you in the other day in the tornado and put her in the basement. So praise
yeah,
God.
yeah. I watched it form in the splash park parking lot. Oh my gosh, I was terrified. I didn't know whether I was supposed to cry, whether I was supposed to laugh. I didn't know what to do.
Now, well, do you feel like you're actually coming to grips now with everything that people said to you previously? Is it still? It still hurts though, doesn't it? Even all the things they said and did.
Yeah, it hurts, but I just kind of, at this point, I don't even let it affect me. I'm just like, okay, congratulations. That's what you think. That's what you think. That's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
your opinion, not mine.
Yeah, and your parents have both accepted the Lord into their life these days, and so that helps make things smooth over for you, doesn't it? It just keeps everything a lot more calm
Yeah,
and keeps your mother out of the drug places and off drugs. And actually, your stepfather, he's staying off drugs too.
yeah,
He was a major drug addict, but life can be different, can't it? You
yeah.
can uh, find your happiness one way or another. And
Yeah, a lot of people do say, like, oh, once you're an addict, you're never going to change. Well, that's not true.
no,
I mean, and sometimes I'm just like, look at my parents.
mm-hmm,
My mom was a drug addict since she was 18, and look
mm-hmm,
at her now. She's almost 36 years old and she's clean.
yep,
And
it's
then you have I don't call him my stepdad. I do call him my dad. So
mm-hmm.
I'm just like, look at my dad, you know.
Yeah, he was on drugs for a very, very long time, and he OD'd a few times and everything else. And I have to say, I'm very proud of the progress he's made over the years. So, you have things to look forward to now, don't you?
Yeah, I'm glad that my mom actually realized that he was the one.
Yeah, well, next year you plan to go back to public school, though, don't you? So you can do the senior route, and
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
uh, you might as well come on and do it. You
Yeah.
want to go to prom and everything. So,
Yeah, I do.
no. Well, I hope you can do it, and I hope things go well. And I'm glad you're away from the major bullies right now. There'll always be bullies in your life,
Yeah.
but
Especially grandpa. But
yeah, there will always be bullies in your life. But you have the strength to stand up and say, "No, I'm not that," don't you?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's all we can all ask for. Anyway, we thank you for joining us today. Kennedy will join us again here soon, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I like her company. And so we would thank you for coming today, and we hope you join us next week for Trials and Triumphs.